What you're looking at is an experiment. Inside that plastic container is a quart of water, 3/4 cup dried malt, and some bread yeast, all mixed together and shook up, and obviously it's going to ferment. The lid is not on tight, of course, and we'll just see what happens. My goal is to come up with what's called small beer, or sometimes common beer, a little bit like Pennsylvania swanky, but you know, we'll see how it goes. And I'd like to come up with something that I could do every day. You know, that would be for drinking in about 4 days. We'll see how it goes, but I think after 3 days the fermentation is done, and then you've got about 2 days to drink it. I've got enough containers that tomorrow I'll do the same, and we'll see how it goes. It's called top fermenting when you ferment warm. I mean, this is an experiment, so here's step 1. I could add just a little bit more. Since there's no hops in it, technically, or at least in the old language, it's not beer, it's ale. Ale in the making. There was something called the German purity law that said that beer could only be made with 4 ingredients: water, barley, well, maybe it's only 3. Water, barley, and hops. They didn't know that yeast was a critical ingredient at that time. Well, that's just water and barley. Well, the yeast is there, but I mean, by their definition, they didn't know about that. And they called it beer at that point that the law came about. And it was to avoid all kinds of flavoring that went on. The Germans wanted pure beer. But there was all kinds of variants of that. I'll probably talk more about that later, but I did want to point out that there's no hops in that. Technically, it's ale.